There have been 439 new cases of COVID-19 in Victoria overnight and 11 people have died. The latest figures come as many businesses in lockdown areas prepare to shut up shop or reduce their operations under new restrictions. Stephanie Ferrier is in Melbourne CBD and Elias Clure is in the city suburb of Moonee Ponds. Hi there both. Steph, to you firstly. Sadly, 11 deaths then overnight. Talk us through today's numbers.
Yes, good afternoon, Ros. That's a very sad figure again, another 11 deaths. That includes one man in his 70s, one man and three women in their 80s, two men and three women in their 90s and one woman in her hundreds. Now, we have been told that they all relate to aged care homes as well, those deaths. Now, in terms of the figures today, we have 439 new cases of coronavirus detected in the past 24 hours. 456 people are now in hospital here in Victoria, 38 of them in ICU. So we also have 1,186 cases that relate to those aged care, and of course they are a major concern given the vulnerable nature of those people. Now, of course, we also have heard some further information from Premier Daniel Andrews about what is going to be done to try to stop people who are COVID positive, who seem to still insist on heading outside of their homes. Now, apparently they said that there were still many people that sadly had been caught when the ADF and the Department of Health workers went to door knock these places. They were found not to be where they should have been. Of course, previously there's been a multitude of reasons why they might be out, the main one being exercise. The Premier Daniel Andrews says too many people are using this as an excuse to go out when they're clearly not exercising. So from now there will no longer be that excuse anymore. So let's have a listen to what he had to say about increased penalties as well.
The message is very clear. You will be door knocked, you will be visited. If you're not at home, then you will be fined. And the fine, $1,652, but beyond that, the opportunity for police to on-the-spot fine you up to $5,000, and for particularly selfish behaviour, the opportunity to take you to court, where the maximum penalty is in fact $20,000. To avoid a fine, to keep your family safe, to keep every family safe, to get to the other side of this faster, please do the right thing.
Steph, what did the authorities say about the current level of compliance with the new restrictions in Melbourne?
Yes, well, of course, we've now got that nighttime curfew as well, of course, that starts at 8 o'clock every night and doesn't finish until 5 a.m. And we did hear that over the past 24 hours, we've had 161 fines issued by Victoria Police. 60 of those were for not wearing a mask without a valid reason not to do so. Now, we heard from Lisa Neville, the Police Minister, who said that there's clearly a hardcore group of people who have taken it upon themselves to deliberately and knowingly not comply with these rules. She has said that there have been a couple of times where dozens of people have breached those curfew rules. Somebody, she says, decided that they were bored and wanted to go for a drive. Another person decided that they wanted to go and buy a car, so they thought that it was a good idea to drive across the city of Melbourne after 8 o'clock and do that. And there's also been people being picked up after having picked up other people from different households, which they're not supposed to do in that curfew zone as well. Now, one of the really bad cases that we heard the Chief Commissioner of Police, Shane Patton, talk about was down in Frankston in Melbourne's southeastern suburbs, where a 38-year-old woman was approached because she wasn't wearing a mask. The policewoman asked why she wasn't, and this lady then apparently grabbed the policewoman and smashed her head into the concrete ground several times. So that was a really sickening and disgusting, obviously, act of what has happened with some of these people who've refused to comply with the orders of the Chief Health Officer. That particular woman was taken into custody and will be charged on several offences.
To Elias Clure now, who's at Moonee Ponds. Elias, you've been talking to business owners there about the latest round of restrictions. What have they been telling you?
Good afternoon, Ros. Well, there's main streets like this all over Melbourne, and they're such a critical part of suburban life. But it's in about 36 hours now where all of these shops will have to shutter their doors, and main streets and high streets all over Melbourne will fall silent. Now, we've seen a little bit of panic buying. We're just across the road from a main supermarket here, but By and large, here at Puckle Street in Moonee Ponds in Melbourne's northwest, it's been relatively quiet and relatively calm. Now, as you mentioned, I have been speaking to some business owners. Some are, I guess, optimistic that they'll be able to adapt and survive this 6-week period, but others are worried that they might not be able to make it through and are desperate for more help. Let's have a listen.
We'll have to shut our doors and we won't be able to trade Thursday onwards, which will be the first time we've ever closed our doors. And everyone else feel for them and they all feel for us. We have to do this, I suppose, small pain for a bigger gain. I think we'll come back stronger if we all do the right thing.
Well, if we've got to close completely, it will mean no income. Fortunately, we've got the work JobKeeper, so our girls still get paid. You know, I don't want to put girls off at this stage because girls like Darlene, she's been with me for 13, 14 years and it would just break my heart to see him go.
We understand that we all have to do the right thing and closing for 6 weeks and hopefully in the end we'll all be in a better situation and we'll all be able to get on with our lives and basically start all over again.
Small business owners are hoping that their loyal customers continue to shop online, but are urging them to be patient because, of course, warehouses will be operating with a significantly reduced staff. Ros?
All right, Elias Cleur and Stephanie Ferrier, thank you both.